I started doing drugs when I was 15 years old, and it just sort of took a hold of me. I started out drinking, smoking marijuana, innocently enough, with my friends. By the time I'd graduated, I started using cocaine. From there, started smoking crack, and eventually ended up on heroin. I ended up in the ICU on life support. They contacted my parents. My parents were in the room. The doctors came in and they said, you're gonna have to make a decision whether or not to pull the plug or whether or not to keep him in this state and care for him as a vegetable. 2 days later, my parents came in and I was sitting up in the bed. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. And the doctors really had no explanation for it. I knew what it was. You know, God spoke to me and he told me, I've already given you 2 gifts, you know. One is my son and one is recovery. And what you choose to do with those is up to you. And that's always been my problem. You know, I've always felt the presence of God. I've always known the power of God, but I've always chosen myself. I've always chosen the world, you know, and put them ahead of him. One of the greatest things that God has done for me in this short period of time is that he just puts me in a community of people that care. I see him in the people that he gives to me, whether they're people at Crossroads, whether they're people in recovery, whether they're people both. You know, there's just a lot of freedom in that. One of the hardest things was dealing with all the things in my past that I had done, you know. The lying, the cheating, and the stealing, and the manipulating, you know. There's a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. The gift of Christ is that fully surrendering to him, I can be forgiven for all those things. I can move forward from there, you know. And there's just a joy, and there's just a big freedom. You know, addiction is like a huge weight that you carry around, you know. Surrendering to Jesus is like, just takes that away. This felt so safe to me. I knew that God was here. And so I would come back here and I would go into the auditorium, and there was just always certain songs that would touch me. But, you know, the verses about life being rough, you know, eating crumbs off the floor, deprived of posterity, and I would relate to that. And then Andrea would just blast, I will not be consumed, and I mean, everything in me would just get released. I would just cry. Every time I would hear that song, I would cry. I just have to be aware that the world's not going to change. You know, I have to be the one to change. Every day I have to make the choice. One of the things that I do every day is dive into the Word, and this morning when I was reading in 2 Corinthians, it just promised me that all things are made new through Christ. So that is my life today, and it's a wonderful place to be.